Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Hey everyone, welcome to my brand new podcast series, Inside One-on-One Coaching, where I'm giving you an inside look on what a private money coaching call is actually like, and to show you how much can shift for you from just one single coaching session. These episodes are real one-on-one coaching calls. Some are with current and past clients, and some are people I've never coached before, and everyone has given permission for these calls to be shared with you here. A full one-on-one coaching package is 3 months long with weekly coaching sessions, unlimited text and voice messaging support with me, and access to the full video curriculum from my signature group coaching program, Cashed Up Creatives. One-on-one coaching is for creatives, business owners, and those of you whose brains just have a hard time following traditional money advice. You'll get personalized strategy and support to help you understand your numbers without a spreadsheet, fully fund your savings, invest your first $1,000, spend money guilt-free, and finally build a relationship with money that feels easy and supportive. The investment for this package is $4,000 or 3 monthly payments of $1,400. You can book a sales call with me to learn more about one-on-one coaching and what that would look like for you, and the link is in the show notes. Let's get to it. Hi, Anna. Is it Anna or Anna? Is it Anna?
It's Anna.
Good. Just wanted to confirm. Hi, it's so lovely to meet you.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I'm a little late. Running late.
Oh, you're totally fine. So for today's call, I read your intake form, and so I've had a couple of notes of what you put on there, but I want to just go ahead and start with who you are, what you do, what's your vibe, and then if anything has changed on what you'd like coaching on today, I would love for you to share that as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm Anna. I just moved from LA to New York.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, so I guess it's been about a year, but I'm still pretty bi-coastal, so
A year is like a month when it comes to big city moves, so like, yes, you just moved.
yeah, so still feeling new.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm an actor. I was mainly in film and commercial work, and now I'm doing more theater, which is awesome. But also means like a financial adjustment because New York is different financial adjustment than LA, and my income has like drastically changed since moving to New York, and yeah, just finding ways to feel like balanced amidst the fluctuations of the industry.
For sure.
Yeah, does that answer your question?
Okay, amazing. Yes, it did. So, when I was reading your form, affording your own place is one of the big goals for the next year or two, right? And then having all your money accounted for, and then also just the realities of like not having to be budgety and also having ADHD, right? That makes it very different to, right? Spreadsheets are not going to be a part of your life. So with that, where would you like to start today? Like, what feels like it's been on the forefront of your brain, weighing on you the most?
I think that good question. I think being able to afford my own place, or just sort of, I feel like maybe they all can more concisely be put into the box of like uh, knowing what to do, how to not like grab from a savings account when, because basically what's happened is that I had like a much higher income because I was doing film work, and now that I'm doing theater, it's pretty significantly dropped. So I find myself sort of sporadically grabbing from my savings account, which feels okay because I have a safety net, but it also like, the more I do it, the more nervous I feel. And
Sure.
obviously, savings are for times when you need it, but ideally I would, because I don't really have like a perfect account of where all my money is, and I think I've done a good job of like diversifying my savings and things like that. But
Sure.
I don't know if that
What
answers
does your current system look like? So like you'll grab from savings when you need it, but like everyone has a money system. You just might not have clocked that it's a system. So is it when your checking account hits a certain point? Do you do it at a certain time of the month? Like, what does your money management look like right now?
It is crazy. Yeah, it's basically just I have like a small consistent income from a side job, so I usually put that into checkings if
That's
that's
the marketing job, right? If I remember correctly.
marketing job. Yes. I forgot I filled out this intake form.
Yeah, you're like, how do you know that?
Yeah, so that's the marketing job, and it's typically like just above what my rent is every month. So I usually like put that right into my checkings, and then ideally like wouldn't after that wouldn't chip away at any savings. But lately it's been a little bit more like, okay, use that to pay my rent, and then whatever else I get from my savings. So yes, basically waiting until checkings reach zero.
Cool. Okay. So W-2
That is
is
also a system I don't like.
sure. Okay. So what it sounds like is W-2 is covering rent and bills or like just rent?
Rent and bills. I do. That's the thing is like I don't always know my expenses. I'm not good at tracking my expenses.
Sure. Okay, cool.
I
So we're
am
gonna
like required expenses.
okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about the money flow method here because I think there's a simple, when it comes to understanding your monthly expenses and then what needs to happen, one of the main pieces of the money flow method is separating, having two different accounts, two different checking accounts, one for your firm expenses, which are rent, utilities, and anything on auto pay, right? So like Netflix included, anything on auto pay. So you don't need to track those every month. You just need to make a list of them and then that's them, right? They're firm. They don't ever change. Sure, especially in New York, Con Ed on their bullshit, right? Like that will fluctuate wildly.
Yeah.
But estimating on the higher end, right? Especially now that we're in the summer, what that would look like. So that's the first piece. So knowing that number. Now, what it sounds like is that even without knowing that number specifically, that number is pretty much matching up with that W-2 income that is consistent that you can bank on. So that W-2 check gets dropped into that firm checking account and all of your bills are auto paid through that. So what it sounds like the question mark problem is all of those extra things you spend money on throughout the month, which are called your flex expenses, groceries, eating out, shopping, Amazon skincare, whatever it is, right? It's all of those expenses. And that's what it sounds like you're pulling the savings out for. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
Cool. So, and you said, so you have W-2 income, right? When you moved from LA to New York, no more film and TV, or not no more, but right, there was a shift in how you're making actor income. Now you're doing theater. So is theater your main other money, or what are you getting residuals, or what's the other money that's coming in?
Yeah, I think it was residuals until like a couple months ago, and so that's kind of the question is that I'm not I'm not
Yeah.
so right now it's been fine, but that's sort of it's yeah, I think that's the question mark of whether I should get another quick side job for a little bit until I book something else, or I'm still doing film and and commercials, so
Hmm.
the hope is that it would just be actor stuff, but
Yes.
very present moment it's not.
Sure. Okay. So to like hone in on the questions that we're wanting to answer is,
Yeah,
do I need to get another side job?
right.
Right? That's one of the big questions. So with that question, the only way you're going to be able to answer that question is to understand what you want to spend in your flex money every month,
Yeah,
right? So when it comes to flex money, right? This isn't budgeting because we're not going to line item track like different categories, right? Again, with ADHD, that's absolutely impossible, right? We're not doing that.
yeah,
So what it comes down to is deciding how much of a chunk do you want to put into that flex account every single month to spend freely however you see fit. So what number comes to mind as I say that? Usually a number will like automatically come to mind.
oh, I'm so bad at estimating.
Hmm.
I don't think I think that's something I'm learning about New York is that the number is much higher just on accident.
Yeah.
But I'm not really like a spender. Like I don't see I'm pretty good at like knowing what I need when I need it. So that's not a real answer.
Yeah. Let's ask this. What did you pull from your savings last month? Or what was the last chunk you pulled from your savings?
I think it was maybe I went on a big trip, so it was like $2,000, and my
Okay.
rent 1,400.
Okay. The month before, what'd you pull?
Maybe I should look these up. Probably a little under that, like
Okay.
1,800. So maybe
18.
I'm spending like $300 to $500 of flex money right now.
Gotcha. Right now, is your W-2 check getting deposited into your savings?
Yes. Or sorry, no,
No.
it's into my checking.
Into your checking. Okay, cool.
The
So,
other thing that's like half flex money, half sort of feels firm is that because I go to LA a lot, I just travel a lot for like work, and my partner lives in LA and things like that. So there's a weird line of like what is flex money and there shouldn't be a weird line. I know what's actual expenses versus not, but I think some of the reason my like flex money is a little higher is because I'm buying flights a lot, which is,
sure.
you know,
Okay. Where are you banking right now?
Chase. And I
Cool.
also have a high yield savings account with CIT Bank.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Why I'm asking that is because I think it will be important for you to have a separate savings bucket or savings account for travel because you're traveling all the time. Because we don't want your flex money to get mixed up with that travel stuff, what savings buckets are for, those extraneous things. Because what I want, so like when we zoom out, the reason that I want you to know your firm number and know your flex number is because those numbers will not change month to month to month. You can have consistency in those numbers. You can count on those numbers, right? If you have a trip, then that money is coming from savings, right? You can look at your savings account. I know one of the things you said was like understanding like the accounting of all of your money, right? Like, can I afford this without like making a shot in the dark, right? And so, what allows you to do that is having that consistency in your month to month baseline. And then anything extra, right, comes from your savings. So, if you're thinking, can I afford this flight or can I afford to travel? You look at your savings bucket that's for travel to be like, do I have enough? And if you're thinking, do I want to order this third margarita, right? I'm going to look at my flex account and see where I'm at halfway through the month. Have I spent half my flex money? You can kind of gauge. So you can just log into your bank accounts and your bank accounts can tell you the answer of what you're able to afford without any mental math. What comes up there for you?
That sounds so satisfying.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what questions do you have about actually implementing that? Or like what's coming up thinking about moving forward, making that like the actual reality of your bank accounts?
I think that I could blame it on ADHD or just like lifestyle or whatever, but I like the concept of doing something weekly or monthly that like organizes feels like I'll never do it.
Sure.
Which I don't want to like have that poor expectation on myself, but if there's not an accountability system in
Sure.
place, obviously like a zero in my bank account is an accountability system. Like I'm not like going into debt or anything, but I think that I know there's like one specific app that like buckets, like you said, and it sounds really satisfying. But I think when I maybe I should look back and it's just like worth doing. But
Hmm.
when I first looked, like when I first had the like spout of energy to look into all of this, I think I went with a different bank because it was a higher percentage or something like that. But
Gotcha.
all
Okay.
that to say, it sounds like really great in theory, but I think that for myself, I need like highly simplified systems in order
Love
to.
that. Yes, let's talk about it. ADHD brains, what we know, right, is that any sort of theory of what would be good is gone. 2 days later, gone, right? Like this is why budgeting doesn't work, right? If you don't have a brain that like likes that organization, right? That doesn't have ADHD. So, and I know there's a lot of like things that are trending right now of like if you have ADHD and you want to get something done, like put a pot of boiling water on the stove because the boiling it literally is a tactical thing that like makes you get up and do whatever.
Yeah.
So you need to create that inside of your bank accounts. So what I just heard you say was the zero in the bank account is what will make the catalyst, right, of action. So we actually create that with the money flow method. So what I mean by that is you have your savings, right? But your two checking accounts are where money is being spent out of. So your W-2 is going to automatically be dropped into that first checking account where all of your bills are auto paid, right? So it's going to take about 45 minutes for you to set that up and transfer everything over, right? We can talk about how to sit down and do the 45-minute date, but once that's done, your bills are done, right? It's all happening automatically. Now,
Okay.
your flex spending, that would be once a month at like 2 days before the first of the month, the day before the first of the month, where you can actually have an auto draft or an auto pull from your savings account into your flex spending account. Or if you want a little bit more like tacticalness, right? You can go to like flex the routine. You can go in and pull a specific chunk of money, the same amount every month, into your flex account, right? So it's like the zero. So then throughout the month, your bank account is actually getting close to zero. So then you're giving yourself that $0 catalyst to let me go check in on my bank account and make sure that auto draft hit, or let me go pull the money, right? To make sure it's in there. What's
Okay.
coming up for you there?
Yeah, I positive responses.
Good. I'm so glad.
I
So
think the only thing is that I the reason I have like auto pays and overdraft protection set up is because I don't always trust myself to like do that at the end of the month. But
why don't you trust yourself to do that at the end of the month? Let's start there.
it's just a very non-stimulating task, and so I
Mhm.
yeah, if there's not like a hardcore deadline or some
Hmm.
accountability, I just I just have a hard time doing it.
Sure.
But I
Talk.
think if I get into a routine about it, then it can feel easier. So
Sure. So let's I'm going to zoom back out even further. You are able to get tasks done. You are a working actor in LA. You book TV film. That doesn't just happen without tasks getting done and routines happening and like work being put in, right? So it's actually not that you can't trust yourself to get it done. You just don't trust yourself to do a task that you don't deem as important to what you actually desire in life.
yeah.
So we just haven't tied the money tasks to what you want in life. Tell me about your creative goals, big visions. Why'd you move to New York? Tell me more.
I moved to do more theater, more stage, more musical theater.
Hmm.
I also just love the city and the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just like not having a car, those expenses were gone.
I'm a
Just
no car girly. I get it.
so nice. It's like
So
really,
nice.
yeah, it's been very good for my soul.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm still kind of figuring out why, but those are the main reasons.
Yeah. Was there a gut feeling? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think I had never really experienced a city that was so culturally compact
Mm.
and also culturally diverse in a smaller amount of space. And New York just has a very clear. It not to be like I've figured out New York, but it has a very clear uh, zeitgeist. Like it has a very like with LA, it took me 5 years to sort of be like, okay, these are the neighborhood like these neighborhoods I kind of get. Whereas New York feels so much. Obviously, there's so much diversity with amongst neighborhoods, but like as a whole, the subway system really like connects people and
Mm.
um, brings everybody together. So I think
Yeah.
all that to say, yeah, I think the gut feeling that felt like I was allowed to be a part of something compact in a large city felt exciting.
Yeah. That's awesome. So 5, 10 years from now, tell me about big vision creative goals. You like what is that for you? We talk about financial goals, right? But what are your creative goals?
Yeah, I think that I don't think that I want in 5 to 10 years to have a career where I have like multiple things on the stove at all times career wise and have a little bit more autonomy about the types of jobs I can say yes to.
Mhm.
and feeling okay about saying no to more jobs if I want to. Um, yeah, just softly more career stability in a career that doesn't guarantee that. Um,
Yeah.
something that I'm like very, very grateful for, to tie it back to financially, is that I don't feel desperate financially when I go into an audition room, and that is so huge.
Yeah.
Um, I have before for sure.
Sure.
So that's not to say that that's hasn't happened, but I also have a job that allows me to audition, and so I've reached certain goals 5 years into working in the industry. But I think 5 years from now, ideally, it would be a little even more stable. And
Sure.
I plan on having a career in the industry for my entire life, and so finding ways to have like stability and the kitschy American dream thing, like ideally I'd have a house and maybe a family one day and things like that.
Sure.
Having a career that's a little more even keel, or feels even keel, even if it's not,
Sure.
is the dream.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is not a dream. It's the baseline that you desire. I'm going to push you a step further, right? Like what I heard was I would like stability and to not be stressed and to be able to choose the kind of work that I want to do. Great. That's not going to have you sitting switching bank accounts because that's not a strong enough desire, right? We're not going to do all this work with the money, even though it's not, and I want to be very clear, it's not like your money systems are going to take a long time, but it's going to feel like a lot because it's a new foreign territory, right? Just having stability and being able to choose which work you do and what you don't, that's that's gone from your brain when you sit down to try and switch bank accounts, right? What's the vision? What's the dream, right? And I'm pushing you on this because I want you to say it out loud. Like, okay, so you want to choose what work you do. What work do you want to do?
I want to do a lot of independent film work, and
Uh-huh.
I want to do a lot of musicals.
Mhm.
Those are probably my main two. I want to do like weird, exploratory, devised theater,
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
works,
Uh-huh.
some Shakespeare,
Yeah.
maybe a
Cool.
show every once in a while.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a piece of homework here. I want you to do some big picture visioning of like dream life visioning 5 years down the road, right? So I want you to be envisioning yourself in that room, in that rehearsal room, doing that Shakespeare play. What's your dream Shakespeare role?
Rosalind from As You Like It.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Basic girl.
Yeah. So like then who's your Benedict?
Ooh. Orlando. Uh,
Oh yeah, did I mix up my Shakespeare plays?
you did, but they're all,
So embarrassing for me. I might cut that
I could
out.
be wrong. I'm happy to.
Who's your Orlando?
Who's my Orlando? Maybe like Andrew Garfield, or like John David Washington.
I'm obsessed with that. Where are you doing this
I'll
Shakespeare?
take either.
I mean, I guess if you have to give me an option. Where are you doing this play?
Probably at the public.
Love that. Okay, cool. So you're doing this play at the public, right? You are rehearsing during the day with Andrew, right? I want you to like envision like you get to the rehearsal room, you both get your cup of coffee, you're chit-chatting, shooting the shit, right? You're rehearsing your play. Then what happens when you come home from rehearsal? What do you do?
I come home to my cozy little Brooklyn apartment, and I cook a really nice meal with really high quality ingredients that's really healthy,
Mhm.
and have a nice glass of wine.
Mhm.
Or maybe I like stop to get a drink with my coworkers, some friends,
Yeah.
and I just have a cozy night in.
Hmm.
'Cause I have
Are you
no stress.
feeling anything in your body right now as you're thinking through this?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the
Yeah.
dream. That's
I'm
the
feeling it, like the glittery chills that are going through my body as I'm getting excited for this vision for you. Okay, that is what's going to have you in your seat switching banks. Okay. Now, how do we actually tie these two together? one, I want you to actually write that down. So when I said like this is your homework,
Yeah.
do a journal entry about that dream day, right? Or one of my favorite things to do is I'll voice memo it, right? Or do a voice note in on my phone and I'll listen to it in the morning, right? To like get that energy into my body. Or like before I do my financial CEO party every month, listen to it. And then from that dream vision, I want you to tie it to your money. So, like that studio apartment in Brooklyn, that cute, sunlit, plant covered Brooklyn studio apartment,
Yeah.
right? How much does she cost? Right. And what does that require of you with your money right now? Well, it involves you understanding your numbers so you can answer the question, do I need another job? What is my rent going to increase to? Right. And then what do I need to increase my income to? I need to get solid in what I'm spending in order to be able to afford that Brooklyn apartment. Okay, me getting booked at the Public and working with Andrew Garfield. What are all the things that my money can help support me in
Yeah.
as I'm going towards that vision? What one-on-one classes do I need to do? Who do I need to start connecting with? What I need to go see every public show that's going on. What are those ticket costs? Like connecting your money to that vision is
Yeah.
what's going to have you sitting down for 45 minutes to switch banks because you can tactically see how switching banks or opening those new checking accounts and switching over your auto pays directly puts you into the rehearsal room with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
What's coming up there?
That feels way more doable.
Tell me why.
Because it's stimulating in a way that just doing financial chore and task work feels non-stimulating.
Yeah.
And that feels, yeah, I think I have a much higher likelihood of getting the task done if I feel like it's beyond just where my random cash is.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
there's more accountability to my future self than there would be to otherwise.
Yeah. And I also want you to think about that future version of you, right? Like 5 years from now. What are the money routines? Because I don't even want to say habits. What are the money routines and the money thoughts that she has that got her where she is now, right? Like you don't get a studio apartment in Brooklyn and pay for it with ease without money systems, right? Like when you're shooting the shit with Andrew Garfield, you're not talking about like, haha, yeah, I'm so broke. Andrew Garfield's like, oh yeah, like just went and did this thing, bought this thing, invested in this thing, whatever. He's probably not saying that, but you're not commiserating over like, haha, we don't know how to do money. Andrew's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I have my money shit together, right? I have my advisor. Yeah, I'm
I
good. Like,
hired
you're not talking
her.
about it,
Yeah.
right? So, like, the version of you who's shooting the shit with him has to have her money shit together.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
can hang with Andrew Garfield.
literally.
You're right. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and I've never thought about it in those terms before, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I had a thought, but I forgot what it was. Yeah, I think I also like there's a soft hesitancy towards, or just a cynicism about how money and quality of life correlate sometimes, and I think that's like gross and sad in this world,
Yeah.
in some at some base level. So I think there's sort of a pushback about like,
Yep.
I don't know, just that concept. But I also know that there's a realism in, and also it doesn't have to be all cynical and
Mhm.
feel gross for me to like feel good about. Because also another thing that feels gross is me sort of like blindly putting my credit card on the line and not really like knowing what I'm doing. So
Right.
feels
I want
bad.
you to listen to the podcast episode called How to Deal with Inflation or How to Handle Inflation. That's a couple episodes back because I talk exactly about that of like separating the meta anger and frustration that capitalism has infiltrated art to the degree it has, the cost of living crisis. That anger is so real and justified. And we can separate that from the life you get to live, the financial reality you get to live, right? And it's not that you're ignoring this thing over here, you're just separating them so you can navigate each of them separately. So you get to live the life you were given to live here to the best of your ability, right? Your dream life. And we can acknowledge that the game is rigged and it's fucked, and you're going to figure out the rules to play that game. So that's a great episode to dive deeper into that subject.
Yeah, I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, I also just think it's helpful, like talking to someone and having it be sort of a normalized conversation that feels a little more tangible too. So,
Good. I'm so glad. Well, Anna, it was so lovely to coach you today. I'm excited for you, separating banks, getting your voice memo about Andrew Garfield. Excited for you. I'll be manifesting that for you too. We've encapsulated it into this recording right here. So like it's in the ether now. It's happening.
for now, yeah, send it to Andrew. I can't wait to work with you.
I love that so much. All
But
right, Anna.
I really appreciate it. So.
Of course. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.